Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Crypto Junior here. So, another video idea. Why don't I share how I got into crypto and NFTs? As I'm building up this channel, I really want to dedicate it to educating others because it was an uphill climb for me. Yes, I had people around me to help me out, and that was key. However, there are some things that I'm learning now that I don't necessarily hear as many people talking about. So let me start with my journey and we'll see where the rest of this channel goes. All right, so it all started with a crypto trade actually. That was about 2 years ago now, and I was in the corporate world. I started out as a R&D developer and then switched from that to, well, more of a tester of the software, then switched from that to like a technical sales role, and from the technical sales role to a sales role. So I kind of got to see the whole cycle from like building a product to selling the product. So fast forward, been with that company for maybe like 5, 6 years. I decide, a buddy of mine. So I can't lie, I was always kind of negative on crypto. I didn't like bash it or anything, but I never was like super about it. So, like, fast forward a year or so later, it's probably more than a year since from the first time to when I first made my investment. Boy, I wish that was different, but obviously you got to be grateful for the things that you were able to do correctly, and the lessons you do make or learn from on the way. So regardless of what happened, I decided to finally invest in crypto 2 years ago, and yeah, I finally made the jump. It was from somebody that I trusted, so I remember I just put in like X amount into like 6, 7 different coins. Not gonna say the coins, doesn't really matter, but in about a month or so, I remember going back because I was just like, you know what, just set and forget it, right? Like they say. And I threw it out, made the investment, and I came back, and each one just about doubled, if not tripled. And I was just like, whoa, tell me more. Because I'm investing in stocks right now and other things, and I've never seen that type of growth in that short of a period of time. Yes, it was the bull market, so there's that. It was very lucky to be making money in crypto then, at least, right? So fast forward, I'm like, tell me more, and that just kind of spiraled into one getting super into cryptocurrency, wanting to learn more, dive in, take it to becoming a student for something else again, and that went to some trading, crypto trading, traded my way to actually leaving my former employer. That's a different story, but uh, diving, straight into Web3, becoming quote unquote a full time Web3 trader at one point, and then, but at that point, I was building a platform. That's another story. Uh, but as that didn't go necessarily as planned, began to veer off into more Web3 related things that weren't necessarily building a company. So very much crypto to start, and continued down that crypto path for a while, and still do today, still trade today, not like day trading or anything anymore, but yeah, just trades every now and then. And it's fast forward maybe like 4, 5 months, obviously knowing about NFTs, seeing some cool NFTs, but very much in the world of day trading. So finally, when I decided to make the jump, it was shouts out to Alpha Bot Society. That was the first NFT that I purchased. And to me, it was what caught my attention was one, the fact that it was different. It was a 3D NFT. It just was kind of like just popped out. I think I saw it sold out fairly quickly. So that was also like, made sense to me as a potentially successful franchise or brand moving forward. But overall, it was a lot of the things that another friend had detailed like what to look for in an NFT project, and then I think it was actually a Twitter feed that I read really broke it down. I think the dude was rocking a Lazy Lion or something NFT, but he took like it was the first time I think I read a thread. It was like 10 tweets long, where he broke down how he was able to turn like one investment of that project into potentially I think himself leaving his full-time job. And it was great, like from start to finish, just what to look for. So when those stars aligned a few months later after reading that, and I actually visually liked the project, it's just I said, hey, let's go, let's roll. And that is a different story of how that led, because NFTs is really what led me to start doing Twitter Spaces, and that's something I do pretty often now. But like without NFTs, it was just like tweeting, you know, doing your own thing in the crypto trading world. You really don't. It's not as big on community as as just cryptocurrencies themselves. Yes, they both have communities, but from what I saw, maybe it's just my experience. It seemed like NFT communities were overall just like a different level. I can't lie, so I guess this goes into why I decided to jump into NFTs. I can't lie, like, but obviously with the crypto trading, very much hands off. Would do my research here and there, but was never really like diving in, getting to know many people. It was just like every now and then a form or two, but not really. But the NFTs, man, I'll tell you what, the community aspect, I remember shouts out to Justin. He was the first one that I think I jumped in a Twitter space with because I didn't even know what a Twitter space was then. But I remember like always seeing a Twitter space going like 24/7. Like sometimes I would be on Twitter, I wouldn't see a single Twitter space going on. And then all of a sudden, 24/7, there's a Twitter space going on. Shouts out to that dude. He grinded, he hustled, and he really, in my opinion, helped kickstart the AlphaBot Society. So, long story short, I will say that the community, number one, is a great reason to. I mean, it was something that drew me into NFTs because overall, I wanted to be very much a hands-off investor, put my money in, sit back, relax, it'll do its thing, right? But then I got introduced to NFTs, which was way more community driven, in my opinion. Obviously, you got those things like spaces going on. I think to this day, it's mainly like Web3 based spaces that do marathon spaces like that. I don't know. I may be in my own little echo chamber or bubble, but that's what I see. So I went from a very much hands-off investor to now I feel like not just joining different communities, but being a core part of it and just being a vocal advocate for it and just meeting, in my opinion, now lifelong relationships and friends. Um, and yeah, so like that was, in my opinion, something that you're not necessarily going to get in the crypto industry. If you're looking for that bonding, outside of researching the project. You're gonna get that. Jump in a Discord, jump in Twitter space, get to know the people, talk. And in my opinion, if you find the right group, that's almost like it becomes almost like a mastermind group because you find the right project and you're gonna know it. You're gonna have like-minded individuals that probably like doing the same stuff that are there for the same reasons. And when you find that project, I'll tell you what, it's something special. It's something that, in my opinion, the only thing that's come close to it has been like sports, collegiate sports. Just that camaraderie, just that, hey, we're all here to get something done. Like, especially when you get some of these underground projects, you get to know the founders, and it's just become so personable, something that you can't get in the traditional investment world. I don't know about too many stocks that you buy a stake in, and next thing you know, you're talking to the CEO, you're talking to the founder, you're talking to a key individual. And not just that, in my opinion, you're able to, since it's a smaller pool, usually, because NFTs are, I'd say on average 10,000 in that collection. And then you got, cryptocurrencies that are over 1 billion coins type stuff. And that's like probably the average too. Again, don't quote me on that. But so you're getting a much tighter knit community of people. And in my opinion, when you think about it in stocks or cryptocurrency, you can, depending on when you get it, obviously, but you can obviously have a significant stake in a brand or a business. So that's why personally, when I'm looking for stuff, I'm looking for business led projects that are running the ship like it's a business, because that's the way I'm looking at this investment. I'm looking at it as owning a stake in a brand that you believe in, that you think is going to grow over time, versus, unfortunately, sometimes the meme ones, the ones that are just for fun. And don't get me wrong, the funny part is most of the time those for fun ones like skyrocket the most, right? And in my opinion, that's great because it brings attention to the space. Obviously, it sucks whenever they skyrocket in rug or do something like that, but that's why, in my opinion, I don't get me wrong, I've been in the meme coins, I've been in the for fun NFTs, but if I'm gonna have a large portfolio, it's probably gonna be more allocated towards the real stuff, and obviously the fun stuff as well. You don't want to take anything too seriously, let's be real. So yeah, so I'd say like the community, the ownership aspect, obviously just being cryptocurrency DeFi, that was by far one of the key things that got me into, well, more interested in the DeFi space, decentralized finance, was ownership. I think we look at today and very much don't own a lot of things in life, right? Even the things that you think you own, you actually probably don't. So the fact that you could own your own asset, property, whatever the case may be. Like you have complete ownership over it, and nobody can tell you what you can or can't do with it, nor can somebody, hold it for ransom. That's why, there's a big case for having your own wallet versus having your funds on exchange. We don't have to go into all the crazy stuff that happened last year, but yeah. So that ownership itself, the community, the potential gains, as an investor and still being fairly young. So I think there was just so many things that led me towards that category, and then learning more about NFTs, because it went first crypto I was skeptical about, the NFTs I was skeptical about. Then I got to know more about it, and I think the final piece is because I think it's going to grow the adoption of the space. Why? Because when it comes to crypto, it's not very much like accessible, or not just accessible, but there's not many use cases for it in the real world other than being able to use it as a payment. Now you take NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens. Not going to go into that reasons or tech behind that or meaning. That's another video. But you have these non-fungible tokens that essentially have so many widespread use cases that are more real world facing. One, it's usually a visual image, art, pass, you name it. There's so many different use cases for the actual NFTs, and why I believe so many top tier investors say that it's going to, like, that is where they're more bullish on, is NFTs, because the adoption and the use cases in the real world are more I think, user facing, that it's actually going to connect the dots. Right now we're having trouble connecting the dots. So NFTs, in my opinion, I'm thinking IDs, like ID cards. No reason that you just don't need to be carrying around a plastic freaking ID card. NFTs bound to your wallet, you're the only one that has access to it. Yes, you need that long code and blah blah blah, but I mean, it's just like an ID. When you lose it, you lose it. You got to go get another one. I think there are ways to implement that, and I don't think we're too far off seeing more identification cards or things like that, utilizing blockchain technology. So in my opinion, I just believe that overall, the adoption of cryptocurrencies versus NFTs is going to go faster. Cryptocurrency adoption is going to go faster because of NFTs. At the end of the day, they are actually tokens. They're called tokens. However, just their use cases, from music to access passes to gaming to, man, utility cards. It just goes on. So I think we're gonna start seeing more and more corporations adopt it as well. And in my opinion, that's just gonna continue to grow overall adoption of both crypto and NFTs. So that is why I got into NFTs. That is, I guess, the reason I'm still in it, because I see the potential. And actually, one last thing, think about it. You not just are you investing in something, but now you have the opportunity to be a big part of it. So by actually going out, getting to know the owners, if you're a developer, potentially getting a developer job with them, or just helping out, in my opinion, free experience. I would rather go work for a project for free. That's I see so much potential in, because I know the experience is behind it, and rather work for equity than, look for something that is going to pay me. Just my opinion. So I think, yeah, the opportunities to be in an NFT or DeFi project, as well as the opportunity to be a key figure in its growth, right? Think about that. You actually have a chance to affect an Apple stock, to affect the next Bored Apes. Let's go actually into the Web3 world, right? Because you were a key part of that team, you're a key player, you're a key community member, and the best communities, they see that, they reward that, and they continue to grow. So, in a nutshell, that's why I got into NFTs, that's why I got into crypto, that's why I'm still here, and that's why I'm riding this rocket ship that is to the moon. But thanks for letting me ramble on again. Crypto Junior here. See you next time.